In 1970, George McNeill raced against this horse. He won, easily. McNeill signed part-time professional for Hibernian straight from school, giving up his amateur status forever to play part-time football, studying in the other part to be a quantity surveyor. After 5 years, the fastest winger in the league decided to take up sprinting. Automatically banned from amateur athletics, he entered himself for Scotland's most famous professional race, the New Year's Day Powderhall Sprint Handicap.
I tried to win it by just training myself. I trained myself for 3 weeks prior to the meeting. I actually backed myself with £100 of my own money, and that was a failure. That year Jim Bradley had a man in the sprint who won it. I liked his style. He looked a class performer, so I phoned Jim Bradley up the next day. From then on I started training with him.
Jim Bradley's training methods are not spectacular, but they produce spectacular results. He took McNeill into the gymnasium and set him to work pounding an American speed punch ball and doing exercises to increase his chest and lung capacity, but no weight training. At the beginning of the next running season, McNeill came out to put his newfound strength to the test and started doing incredible times during practice. Bradley couldn't believe them and sent his watches off to be checked. Nothing wrong with them, so he had his training track measured and surveyed. Nothing wrong there either. So the answer was that McNeill, by dedicated training, had improved his performance almost beyond belief. At Powderhall the next new year, McNeill duly ran away with the big sprint, winning £1,000 prize money and a great deal more for his supporters. The new season started in June 1970, and McNeill, pulled to the scratch mark by the handicapper, was still running fabulous times, although not winning so often, as he was giving big starts to other good runners on the grass tracks at the Highland and Border Games. In August, his moment arrived, and at the Meadowbank Stadium in Edinburgh, where the Commonwealth Games had recently been held, running on the superb tartan track, McNeill beat the world professional sprint record for 120 yards 4 times in one evening, and on the way covered 100 meters faster than the Commonwealth Games gold medalist and the United Kingdom amateur record holder. By now, it was apparent that McNeill was a sprinter of world class, and equally apparent that he could never run for Scotland, nor for Britain. So it was back to the Highland Games and professional running. Foot racing is one of the oldest sports seen at the Highland Games and takes place along with tossing the caber and catch-as-catch-can wrestling. Over the years, it has produced many heroic figures, such as Dan White of Jedburgh, the winner of the first Powderhall Sprint in 1870. Clyde built Willie McFarlane of Glasgow, first winner of the Powderhall Sprint from the scratch mark and winner in 2 successive years. Saxon of London, who won off 15 yards at the age of 35, much to the disgust of the crowd. All running for cash prizes and whatever they could pick up by backing themselves. With large sums changing hands, the betting schools took to training their men in secret. Even today, there will sometimes be a dark horse in for the Powderhall, trained up in the hills or on some lonely seashore far from the prying eyes of other betting men. Jim Bradley doesn't believe in such nonsense. His way of dealing with rivals spying on his top men training at Meadowbank is to move the starting blocks, while everyone else has their eye on the finish. Anyway, a trainer of his ability is death to the bookies. New Year's Day again, and the big handicap is run this time at Meadowbank. McNeill must win his heat in semi-final to assure himself of a chance at the money. Once again, Scarlet of Albany is Jim Bradley's school. In blue, David Gibson's men. Norman Atkinson's school in yellow.
Come on, lads, on this sprint. Come on, keep these busy, lads. In you come. You should be bigger ass.
McNeill's heat. Running from scratch in the number 4 position, he must give 18 metres to McLaren of Edinburgh and 8 metres to Oliver of Cowdenbeath. Through, but only just, and beating the world record again to do it. His own record shattered by himself in the middle of winter. What couldn't McNeill do with an American or Russian athlete's preparation and the right climatic conditions? The semi-finals, and Anderson of Ashington goes through. McNeill must give him 8 metres. Young of Elphinstone romps in. He gets 6 metres. Oliver of Cowdenbeath, he gets 8 metres. McFarlane of Curry, just through. And now McNeill, on the far side in the number 1 vest. Run to the tape by Lindsay of Innerleithen, but through. So in the final, McNeill, off scratch, must give these fine runners starts of up to 8 metres in 110. What a pity Scotland has lost such a fine competitor. What a pity McNeill of Tranent won't be McNeill of Britain in the next Olympics.
I would far rather have an Olympic gold medal